All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk to you about Hut8, stock ticker HUT. Hut is a Bitcoin miner. They also mine some Ethereum, as well as they have some new lines of business that we'll talk about later in the video. So we talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners quite a bit on this channel. If that is content you're interested in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody would please smash the like button, it helps the channel out a lot. You'll find in the pinned comment a link to our free Discord, so you're welcome to come over there. Most of our conversation is about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. All right, let's get to Hut8. I want to catch everybody up on where Hut8 is and what the plan is for the rest of the year. In addition to that, I did listen to their earnings call, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what they talked about in their earnings call because some of that was not mentioned in the reports. Okay, we'll start real quick with their monthly operational update for the month of April. 309 Bitcoin were mined, resulting in an average production rate of 10.3 Bitcoin per day. Our Ethereum mining, for which we received payment in Bitcoin, generated approximately 15% of the total production at an average cost of less than $3,200 in Canadian per Bitcoin. So they do have those 10,000 special GPUs that they mine Ethereum with, but they get paid in Bitcoin, and that's about 15% of their mining at this time. Okay, I do like to look at month over month. Let's just take a quick look back at March. So 345 Bitcoin were mined, resulting in an average production of 11.1 Bitcoin per day. And you'll also note that they had 2.54 exahash running in March. So the number per day was down. However, they do explain what happened. Due to a couple of storms unforeseen in April, which is a little bit late in the year, our mining uptime was curtailed for a few days in April. As unreasonable weather drove increased power demand from residents and businesses, we reduced our consumption to ensure a steady supply on the grid. So this is a big part of what people don't understand about Bitcoin. Hut8, along with some other Bitcoin miners, are involved in these curtailment programs where essentially when the grid needs more support, they turn down their mining in order to support the community, residential, industrial, whatever the case may be. So obviously April's a little late in the year for some snowstorms, but they did have some unseasonably bad weather. That's really why they were down just a few Bitcoin. So that basically accounts for the difference. And you'll see they did get up to 2.58 exahash from 2.54 exahash. So all in all, weather storms notwithstanding, it seems like April was a very productive month for Hut8. They're saying 100% of the self-mined Bitcoins for the month of April were deposited into custody, consistent with Hut8's HODL strategy. Total Bitcoin balance held in reserve is 6,769. So as of April 30th, they're at 6,769. Okay, let's move over to their quarterly report. So again, this is their results for Q1 2022. All right, strong quarterly revenue, $53.3 million. Bitcoin holdings increased 17% to 6,460. Obviously, here as of March 31st, they didn't have the month of April's numbers in there. All right, next they say adjusted EBITDA of $27.1 million. This is a very important number to me. I like to look at the EBITDA because there are so many non-cash transactions that go on a lot of these Bitcoin miners' income statements, and it's just a matter of accounting. That's what they have to do, but it skews their net income. And to me, the most meaningful number, and again, this is just my opinion. You guys need to look at this for yourself, but I like to look at EBITDA versus revenue because that is a meaningful relationship. And you can see at $27.1 million, that is more than 50% of their revenue of $53.3 million. So that's a very strong profit. And I like to address that because one of the main things that I get in my comments section and the views and in the Discord is people are very worried as Bitcoin gets down to these low numbers. People are worried that, some of the miners may not be able to afford mining anymore, and their cost of their mining may exceed the price of Bitcoin. So I just want to show in Hut8's instance, you can see here still, even though in the first quarter the average price of Bitcoin was down from 2021, they were at a 67% mining margin, and they're still at an adjusted EBITDA of over 50%. So Hut8 is positioned extremely well to continue mining regardless of a crypto winter or whether or not Bitcoin rebounds quickly or slowly. So I like to point that out because I know that's one of investors' biggest concerns with the Bitcoin miners. So they then say high performance computing business delivered solid financial results, and we're going to talk about that as well. We made measurable progress in the first quarter of 2022, significantly advancing our diversification strategy by completing the acquisition of 5 data centers and cementing our role as the only digital asset mining company that is delivering the high-performance computing infrastructure to support companies in the blockchain and Web 3.0 spaces, said Jamie Leverton, CEO of Hut 8. Thanks to our leadership role in the digital asset mining industry, backed by our HODL strategy, we are uniquely positioned to seize opportunities in the burgeoning industry as they arise. I'm not going to dig too deep into the data centers in this video because there's just not enough time, but this is a new line of business for them, and it is not insignificant. This is not something they're dabbling in, so you can expect that this will become a decent part of their business. Now, again, they always reiterate they're a Bitcoin mining company first, but this integrates them in a way that is different than any other Bitcoin mining company, and it gets them involved in some potential partnerships and opportunities. These are dollars they can spend to pay for overhead and operations and continue to hodl their Bitcoin. All right, I want to go down a little bit further in the report and take a look at their balance sheet, because this company has an extremely strong balance sheet, and this is going to position them to get where they're trying to go. Again, this is as of March 31st at the end of the first quarter. Hut 8 has $78.5 million in cash in the bank. They have $367 million of digital assets, and essentially that's Bitcoin because they receive payment even for their Ethereum mining. They receive payment in Bitcoin. So that's $367 million in Bitcoin on the balance sheet. That leaves current assets of $453 million. You'll see that is against current liabilities of $22 million. So their current ratio is astronomical. This is an unbelievably healthy company. In addition to that, I just want to take a quick look at their non-current assets. Plant and equipment, $149 million. Deposits and prepaid expenses, $136 million. So that's about $285 million, machines and equipment and facilities set up for them to continue to grow their Bitcoin mining operation. So you can see total assets is $750 million against total liabilities of $100 million. So again, that's an excellent ratio. The reason that I'm looking for this is they are planning on buying more machines to get to their goal by the end of the year. And on the conference call, Jamie made it very clear they are not going to sell any Bitcoin. They've gone through this analysis, and selling Bitcoin at this price is not effective in their mind. So they are not willing to transfer their Bitcoin for Bitcoin machines when they have other options. So they are holding their Bitcoin. They believe in Bitcoin in the long term as a store of value. So they are not going to sell their Bitcoin for $30,000 a Bitcoin. But what they will do is, this is $367 million of assets. They can leverage that and use that as collateral to borrow money to buy more machines. And Jamie addressed this in the call as well. She did say that that is something that was on the table, that is one of the levers they would likely pull in order to get the cash to buy the rest of the machines that they need to reach their goal. She also talked about buying machines and said that they are being patient. The price of Bitcoin mining machines has been going down and the efficiency of those machines has been going up. So whereas a year ago, it was very hard to get your hands on one of these machines and you had to give a big deposit in advance and, hope that the machines were delivered on time, that situation has reversed. The Bitcoin mining machines are no longer the bottleneck in this industry. The new bottleneck in this industry is basically the infrastructure and the electricity. Hut 8 has been taking care of that as they go, and they are waiting to be strategic. In Jamie's words, she says she's being patient. They are going to buy these machines at the time they're ready to plug them in and utilize them. So let's just go over to their investor presentation, which was updated today, because I want to talk about what their goal is. This is their investor presentation updated May 12th, 2022. Okay, so this is the by the numbers page, as they call it, for their Bitcoin mining operations. This is Hut 8's digital asset mining business. So this is the mining portion of their business. They have a similar page for the data center portion of their business. So I just want to look at some numbers. So we know they have 6,769 Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And as we talked about, they can use these as collateral to buy the machines that they need. We saw that they're currently at 2.58 exahash. Well, they're looking to get to 3.55 exahash in mid Q2 2022. So that really is just about now. So sometime I would expect in the next 30 to 45 days, they're looking to get to 3.55 exahash. Jamie did mention on the conference call that this third mining site in North Bay is coming online, half of it in May and half of it in June. So I expect that's where they're going to get the extra 1 exahash to get to 3.55 exahash. But the big number that I want to show on this page is they updated this to include 6.0 exahash projected year-end 2022. So that will keep them very competitive as a large Bitcoin miner. Okay, one quick thing before we go to the chart. I want to talk a little bit about their market cap. So Hut 8 closed the day yesterday at $2.44. That left them with a $418 million market cap. This is a chart of their market cap since they listed themselves on the NASDAQ. You will see that on November 8th, they had a market cap of $2.13 billion. Their market cap is down about 80% in the last 6 months. So in the Bitcoin miners case, because Bitcoin peaked in November, really over the last 6 months, there's been a drastic downturn in the price of these miners to the point where, in my opinion, Hut 8 is very oversold. You know, don't make a buying decision just because I'm saying something or any other YouTuber is saying something. You've got to do your own due diligence so that you understand your stocks in your portfolio. But I'm just explaining why I think right now this stock is oversold in my opinion. So let's take a look at the chart. This is the Hut 8 chart on the one-day time frame. So I just want to show you. From the highs in November until the close today, the stock is down 85%. So again, this is not because of dilution. This is just true loss of market cap. To me, that puts a very good risk-reward equation on the table. They're sitting at their all-time low since they listed on the NASDAQ. And at the same time, Bitcoin is at its 18-month low, so we can see why the stock price is down. So I want to zoom in and just talk about a couple of price targets, which are going to be hard to believe, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, back on May 4th, which was 1 week ago, Hut 8 was trading at around $4 a share. So if they could just get back to where they were trading last week, that is a 63% increase in the price of their stock. So to me, that's a reasonable short-term goal. Again, one of the fundamental things that's going to happen to reach any of these goals is Bitcoin is at least going to have to get a little bit healthy. Obviously, if it continues to cascade downward, that will add the amount of time until they reach these goals. You know, I think it's a realistic goal to see Bitcoin level out and get back to somewhere between $48,000 and $52,000. So with that in mind, the first price target is just to get back to where they were last week. That's a 63% increase. Okay, if they were to get back to where they were a month and a half ago on March 28th, now Bitcoin was at $48,000 at that point. That represents a 181% increase in the price of this stock. Again, that's just retracing their steps back less than a month and a half. So while that sounds like an outrageous price target, in my mind, is really quite reasonable if Bitcoin gets healthy in that period of time. So, okay, last one and we're done. If they can get back to where they were February 10th, and on February 10th, Bitcoin was at around $46,000. That is a 242% increase in the price of their stock. So if Hut can continue to perform operationally as they have been, if they grow their exahash the way they have been, I think these are realistic price targets, although they are very large increases. So obviously, again, I have to reiterate, this is not financial advice. Hopefully that brings you guys up to date on what Hut has going on. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button.